So this morning we are going to talk through a couple features in Docusign. This isn't going to be a full Docusign training, but I want to walk you through how to submit multiple offers from a single Docusign room, since that is kind of a unique feature in Docusign versus .loop, and then some other commonly used features. And then we'll have plenty of time at the end, and you can ask me any questions if there's anything else in Docusign that you would like to see. And as always, please, as I'm going through the training, unmute yourself. Ask me any questions, ask in the chat box. I'll also pause throughout the training to see if there are any questions, but this is all for you. So I want to make sure I'm answering all the questions that you have. So to get started, I'm going to jump right into my Docusign room. Now, this is a room that I had previously set up for another Docusign training, but the idea here is that if you're working with a buyer or any client, and let's say you submit an offer on 1234 Main Street, but it doesn't get accepted, well, then you have to go on to another listing and then another one and submit until you actually go under contract, since it is such a crazy market out there. Well, the easiest place and best place to start making any of those updates or changes is going to be in Command. So I'm going to go back to Command, and this is my room. So I clicked on go to transaction. So I'm going to go back to the details tab, and then I'm going to come over here to opportunity name, and I'm just going to actually let me cancel this. Let's do property first, and I'm just going to update this property to, I'm going to give it my property address. Click save. And now I'm going to update the opportunity name. And click save. So now I have all of that information correct. It's been updated because now I'm going to submit an offer for 3353 Dunn Street. I'm going to come back to documents, and what you're going to want to do is click sync transaction. And when you click sync transaction, that is going to update most of those fields in the details tab of Docusign. So let me close this window. I'm going to click go to transaction, and it's going to open up that Docusign window. All right, and then we'll come to details. Well, look, it looks like it did not sync that information. It is supposed to update all of these fields here. So one of the benefits of live training. But regardless, we're going to go on. So before we start to submit an offer for 3353 Dunn Street, let's go ahead and update all of this information in the details tab, because all of the information in the details tab is what's going to auto-populate our purchase and sale agreements and any other corresponding documents. So I'm going to click edit up here in the top right-hand corner. I'm going to update my room name just so I'm consistent across every platform. I'll update the MLS ID. Put a fake number there. So we'll do 3353 Dunn Street Southeast, Smyrna, County Cobb, 30080, year built. So we'll scroll up to 1961. No special circumstances, and then technically this doesn't matter because this was a listing example of a listing that I had before. So I'm just going to delete all this information. All right, so now that I've updated the property address, I've double checked my client information is still the same. Oh, great. So great question. So how do you get to the transaction screen? So are you talking about in Command? So you'd want to get
yes, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to stop you, but yes, I'm in Command, and when I'm in the opportunity link, it doesn't show like on your right-hand side. I think yours show new transaction. I just have create opportunity.
So I'm actually in a specific opportunity. Have you created an opportunity yet?
Oh, no, I haven't. Okay, so once I create one, then I can go to transaction. I understand.
Yeah, you'll click on the Documents tab. within the opportunity, and then you would click start a transaction or go to transaction in the top right-hand corner.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So now I've updated the information for my new property. So I'm going to click save. All right, the room has been updated. So I'm going to go into the documents tab. And then I'm going to scroll down to my room docs folder. This is how I've organized it. And I'm going to open up the purchase and sale agreement. And now we'll see it's updated with our property information that we have just updated in the details tab. Now I'll need to come through here and update my offer date. But you'll notice I use that same form that I used for the previous purchase and sale agreement that I submitted, because in Docusign, let me just close this out real fast to show you. In Docusign, you can only add a form one time to a room. In .loop, every time you wanted to create another offer or you needed another amendment, you could just add another copy of that same form to your loop. Docusign doesn't work that way. So if you wanted to, you could come up here and click add Docusign forms, and I could show you what will happen if you try to add another purchase and sale agreement. So we'll do F201. See, it's already checked, which means that it's already in the room. So I can't add it again. So I'm going to use the same form, and I'm just going to update that information. I wanted to highlight that so it makes a little bit more sense while I'm clicking right into the quote unquote old offer. So I'm going to click to open the purchase and sale agreement. And then we'll just start at the top and we will start updating the information for this new offer. So I'll start with the date. So today is 4/1/2021. And always whenever you're putting dates in an offer, I recommend you put it in the numerical format. I know some agents really prefer to write it out. So it'd be April 1, 2021. However, for whatever reason, when Docusign was going through and mapping all of the fields, when they put in date fields, it requires it to be in this format. And if by chance you don't put it in this format and you click save, you're going to get an error message and it's not going to save any of the updates that you've made to your document. So you'll have to then go through and re-add everything again. And I don't want you to have to do the work twice. All right, so we have updated our offer date, our property address, city, county, zip, MLS number has been updated. I need to update the parcel ID. So we'll just put in our new fake number there. And I'll do purchase price. So we're going to submit an offer of $398. Now I put a comma in there, but you'll notice when I open it back up later, it's not going to save that comma. Again, whenever Docusign is mapping those fields, this is a number format, so it doesn't have a comma. Who knows? Closing costs, we're going to ask for $7,500. We're going to do a closing date of, let's do 5/1/2021. Holder of earnest money, we'll do KWFA. Closing attorney, Campbell and Brannon. Earnest money, let's do 3,500, and we'll do within 3 days. Due diligence, I'm asking for 10 days. Lead-based paint was attached because this was built prior to 1978. And then this, let's say the buyer's broker, co-op broker, let's say is Coldwell Banker. Representing, and then we're going to update this time limit of offer to 4/2/2021. So it's really simple. Just start from the top and fill in and update the fields and double check everything. Now, I will say this is when you start working with buyers, your offers are probably going to be somewhat similar, knowing that they have specific needs and wants when they submit an offer. So you may be able to use a lot of the same information and just update it with the new property information. So it's not going to be everything's going to have to be overwritten, but do double check to make sure. that it is updated. And then I'm going to delete Realty out of the Keller Williams First Atlanta name just so the name doesn't go off the page. Any questions so far? I know we're going through this pretty quickly. All right. Keep scrolling down. Oh. So Rudiger asks, so you did a listing and a purchase in one room? Yes. Now I will, this is just for example, because the room that I'm using for the training this morning is a room that I used from one of my previous Docusign trainings when I prefer to use a listing as an example so we can walk through the disclosures. So if you were working with clients and they had a listing and a purchase, you would want to create two separate opportunities and thus two separate rooms. So don't follow my example exactly today, since I am having them mixed in the same room, but that's just because of previous trainings. Thank you for clarifying or asking me that to clarify. So I'm gonna scroll down. We'll double check all of our exhibits and addenda, make sure everything's good to go. You will also need to update these documents. And I'm gonna update my STIPs here. Add another STIP just in case. All right. And you can add any more additional stipulations that you want. And then I'll come down. Here's my seller's name. Now, again, because this is kind of a little wonky. And as I've mentioned before in Docusign trainings, Docusign is going to automatically add your client's contact information. And it is just a personal preference of mine not to share my client's contact information with any co-op agent. I'm sure that 9 times out of 10, a co-op agent is going to be very ethical and respect the relationship that I have with my clients. However, I don't want to get myself or my clients in a situation where maybe that co-op agent tries to go directly to them or tries to do anything shady. So I always like to hide my client's information. Your first instinct, or at least my first instinct, is to want to delete my client's email address off the form. Do not delete the email address or phone number here off the form, because what will happen is when you updated a form, those pre-mapped fields mapped to the details page will then update that information on the details page. So if you delete the information in the form, it'll then subsequently delete that information on the details tab. Then when you go to send these documents for signature, there won't be an email address for your clients to send these documents to. So in the envelope, you would hide these by using a line feature. And I can show you that in a minute as well. But just want to point that out. Please do not delete your client's email off the purchase and sale agreement. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to double check all of my information, make sure it's good to go. I'm missing my phone number. And then I could fill in the co-op agent's information here if I wanted to. I would recommend you doing that when submitting an offer. Oh, great question. Do you know if opportunities will be able to pull listing data from KWLS at some point and sync to Docusign that we don't have to type everything manually? Probably not. I'm sure that's in the long-term plan. However, there have been some updates to Docusign that allow you to do static forms, which I'm preparing to make a video for to show you how to do that. And Ruger, we could talk about that afterwards as well. So that way you don't have to manually type in the information that's going to be consistent across every form. So now I've gone through, updated my purchase and sale agreement. Everything looks good to go. I'm going to click save and close. All right. So now, since I'm writing a new offer, this signed offer here, I can archive it because I don't need it anymore because this is for 1234 Main Street. And you'll notice that it has a green checkbox here and it says sign. So that's how I know it's a PDF and not a form. So I'm going to archive this because I don't want to get this signed document confused with my new offer. So I'll click archive. And now what I would need to do is send this document for signature. And to do that is in an envelope. So I'm going to select the document and I'm going to come up here to the create envelope icon. And now it's going to create an envelope just with this form. And you'll notice the reason I selected the form in the documents tab versus coming to the envelopes tab and then adding is because as you get further along in the transaction or you've submitted a couple offers, your room is going to start to get full of documents. And the more documents that are in your room, the more difficult it is going to be to find those documents that manually add them to an envelope. So if you wanted to add a document here, you could click Room Docs, and here's a whole list of documents, and there's a lot of them. Some of them are signed, some of them are not signed. Because of that, you just have to be really careful and diligent to make sure you add the correct form. So once you kind of get further along in the transaction, it is a bit easier if you were to select the documents that you want to send for signature in the Documents tab, then select the Create Envelope icon within that toolbar. So now I don't have to deal with hunting and pecking for the correct form in that list of Room Docs. So I'm just going to quickly go through this because this is repetitive. So we'll do add our recipient, we'll do our pre-tagged roles, we'll do seller one. Now I know traditionally you would do buyer one here, but just because of the room that I made, I'm just going to do seller and select myself. All right, and then please sign my little email message, and we'll go to next. This is going to open up our envelope editor where we can double check all the fields, make sure everything is good to go, all the signing fields are correct. Now I'm just going to really quickly scan through this to make sure everything looks good. But a lot of text. Just keep scrolling. Here we have our stipulations, our 2 steps there. And now here we have our clients' email addresses. So we want to hide these before we send them for signature. Now, I understand I'm just sending this document right now just to my clients, but as soon as I get this signed document back, I'm immediately going to want to send it to that co-op agent. So it's easier if I just go ahead and black out their email addresses now. So I'm going to click on the pre-fill tools icon of a little pencil. I'm going to select line, and I'm going to drag this line. I'm just going to make a line right over that email address. Then I can come over here to color within the menu that pops up. I can select black, and then thickness. I can drag that all the way to a 10. And now that email address is blacked out. So I want to do the same thing for my other client. So I'm going to right mouse click on that black line, click copy, then right mouse click again and click paste, and just drag that into the position over my other client's email address. And now both my clients' email addresses are protected, so I don't have to worry about a co-op agent potentially reaching out to them directly. So once I've done this, I'm going to click send, and now this is going to send out to everyone to sign. Any questions on submitting an offer or submitting multiple offers for a single client? Now you may have a client that is like, hey, I want to submit in the same weekend, I want to submit, 3 offers on 3 different properties. You would have to go through and update this purchase and sale agreement every single time for those new properties. If that were too much work, you could theoretically make separate rooms for each one of those offers if that works out better for you. But that's going to be kind of triple the work of adding the documents into the room, updating the details tab, sending them out for signature. So just be mindful of that. Any questions? All right. So another common feature, probably pretty heavily used feature, is going to be combining documents. And I've talked about this in the past, but I know some co-op agents, when you submit an offer, they want everything combined into a single PDF. All right, well, I can do that. And it's easiest for me to do that right here in Docusign. So if you wanted to submit an offer with everything in one document, all you have to do is roll your mouse over the document icons. And I'm just going to select all of these signed documents because you are only able to add PDFs. So it needs to be signed or have the red PDF icon for you to combine them. So I'm going to select all of these signed documents. And then whenever you select the document, this icon will appear, or the toolbar will appear at the top of this, the gray field. And I'm going to come over here to the combine icon. I'm going to select combine, and then I'm going to name this 3353 Dunn Street, Southeast, updated offer. Go forward 21. And now I can move these documents into the order that I want. So if I want to start with exclusive seller listing agreement, then we have our community association fee or disclosure, and then seller's property disclosure, then affiliated market, and then wire fraud. So now it'll save all of these documents in this correct order. So you could theoretically say, your purchase and sale, then your seller's property disclosure, then your conventional loan, lead-based paint, anything else. And then click save. Now when you save, the room will reload, and this new document that I just renamed updated offer is going to be in the room docs folder. So anytime you add a new document, you receive a signed document, or you combine a document, it's going to default into the room docs folder. All you have to do to move is just click on it and drag it into the desired folder. So here is my new document with all of those separate documents combined into one. So you can see how many pages, 21 pages. So you just scroll through, super easy. Now, to get this document to your co-op agent, there's a couple different ways that you could do that. The first is you could roll your mouse over the icon, and then you can select the email feature. However, I do not recommend emailing documents to co-op agents from Docusign. And the reason is that when they receive an email from Docusign, they then have to click review documents and then download them. The documents are not in the email, unless they've made any updates recently, but in the past, the documents weren't directly in the email. And that just creates one or two extra steps for that co-op agent to have to go through to get my offer. And I want to make everything as easy for that co-op agent as possible, because I want them to love everything about my offer and my clients, that they accept our offer. So what I would recommend doing is selecting your document here, and then you can come up here to the toolbar and click download document. And now I have downloaded that PDF of all those combined documents to my hard drive. And then I would recommend sending an email directly from Gmail to that co-op agent and attaching this PDF. Any questions on combining or downloading a document? All right. So Rudiger asks, doesn't it create a zip file? So it can create a zip file. So if I were to select multiple individual documents, so if I had these 3 documents here, and then I click download, this will create a zip drive of all of these. You can see here now it's a zip drive because it's combined multiple documents into one folder. But because I had previously combined all these documents into a single document, it only downloaded the PDF. Cynthia asks, is it possible to duplicate a written purchase and sale agreement so I can create multiple offers at the same time, editing the property in parallel documents? No. Unfortunately, you're not able to do that in DocuSign, as far as I understand your question, because the idea is that you update those forms and then you get everything signed, and then you'd have to update them again for the new offer and then get all those forms signed. I will say the likelihood of you running into an experience or an opportunity where you have to create multiple offers at the same time will probably be slim to none. But if you ever do, let me know and we can work on that together. But as far as I understand, there's not ability to kind of pre-populate, so you have the same or the edited property information in parallel documents. All right, the next thing I want to show you is adding documents from your computer. So if let's say let's say you're the listing agent, or you've received disclosures from your co-op agent, and you want to add them so that way you can send them to your client for signature. You can click Add up here in the Documents tab, and then select Computer. And now you can upload documents from your computer. So I'm just going to pull in the PDF that I just downloaded. I'm going to click Open, and it's going to upload that PDF into my room. And I'm going to scroll down here, and it's now updated into the room docs. I'm going to quickly rename this document. So if you wanted to rename it, you can right mouse click it, and then you have all of these different options here of what you can do. Basically the same thing that's in the toolbar. So I'm just going to documents from co-op agent for 121. I just wanted to rename that so it doesn't get confusing. So I've uploaded my documents. I'm going to open them so we can review them really quickly. Now you'll notice these are a bunch of documents in one. And I'm going to click on this thumbnails view so that way we can kind of see that it is a ton of documents. So to do that, I just click thumbnails up here in the top right-hand corner. So I can see that it's a ton of different documents all in one single PDF. Now, I can't, in the Documents tab, I'm unable to add signature fields here, but I am able to separate these documents for simplicity. So knowing that when we upload documents to Command for compliance review, you have to update or upload them individually. So you can't include the purchase and sale, the seller's property disclosure, and the community association disclosure in one file. They have to be 3 separate files. So when you open up a combined PDF like this, you have the ability to separate it. So to do that, open up your PDF, and then you can come to the Document Actions tab in the top right-hand corner, and then click on Split. And now this is going to give us the ability to separate this one single PDF into multiple documents. So I'm going to name this first one, let's just do 3353 done purchase and sale. And we can click on the page. So I can click on the page, and then I can click Shift to page 9, and it's going to select all those pages. Oh, never mind. It does not. You have to individually click on each page. There we go. So now it is that one document is going to be pages 1 through 9. I can add a second document by clicking Add Document, and I'll name this Another Document. And let's say page 10 here is a community association disclosure. I'm going to roll my mouse over it to get a bigger magnified view, just so I can double check the information. But I don't need pages 10 through 12. I don't need the community association disclosure, but I do want the seller's property disclosure, which looks like it is pages 13 through 19. So I can come up here. I could click on each one of the pages if I wanted to, or I could just type in 13 through 19, and it's going to highlight them all. And now we're good to go. And then I want the wire fraud here. So we'll do wire fraud, and this is page 21. So there we go. So now I have all my documents that I'm going to separate. I'm going to click Save. Then I'm going to scroll down to the Room Docs folder, because anytime we add a new document to the room, it defaults into the Room Docs folder. So here we have our original document with all the documents in a single document. There's a lot of documents there. But then here are the 3 separate documents that I just created. So whenever you separate, you still have the initial document in its original form, plus the 3 separated documents. Now, when you want to send these for signature, you can check the radio button in the top left-hand corner of the document icon. And when these are PDFs, and then come over here to click Create Envelope. So we have our documents, we have them in the preferred order. Now we can add recipients. Now you'll notice here that we only have 2 options, room participants and email addresses. We don't have pre-tagged roles here because these are PDF forms, that there are no fields that are pre-mapped to any of those signature fields or initial fields. So we're going to have to manually add all those initial and signature fields. So I'm going to select room participants because I don't want to have to retype in my client's email information. So I'll select Tony, Pepper, and myself, add selected. And then we'll click on next to get into the envelope editor. And then we'll just, scroll through the thumbnails. And then we would add any signature fields here. Now I already have them on here from the previous training. Oh, that's Pepper. So we need to move Pepper over here. And then Tony. You just go through each one of these forms. I'm just going to go through the thumbnails just for time. So it's not difficult. You just need to be mindful of all the places where you're going to be adding any signature fields. All right, and then once you're good to go here, everything's all your signatures have been added, any initials, any missing information, you can click send. And now this is going to send those PDFs to your clients for signature. Any questions about uploading documents, separating them, or sending them for signature? All right, I'm going to go back to the Documents tab. Any other questions that you guys have for this morning? I know we kind of went through this pretty quickly, but kind of all that we have on the schedule to review for this morning. So are there any other Docusign questions that I can answer? Anything else that I can show you this morning?
Hey, Nick, it's Cynthia. How are you?
Yeah.
Yes, just wanted then to clarify my earlier question. So then, yes, I was trying then to see whether when I created, if I understood well, when I want to create multiple offers, I create that first purchase and sale agreement. And if we're doing multiple offers, then we just go back to that previously developed purchase and sale agreement and edit those fields. But then I lose whatever I have put there, right? I cannot just duplicate that document. So I keep, in case I need to make more edits to that, let's say offer number 1.
That is correct. So you would lose all that information. But what you would want to do if you're going to be submitting multiple offers, and so you have to use the same room, is you'd want to write offer 1, send that purchase and sale agreement to your client to review and sign. Then you would have the signed copy of that original purchase and sale. So this would be offer number 1. Then you would update the purchase and sale form with offer number 2, send that for signature. Then you would have the PDF, signed PDF of offer number 2. And you do the same thing for offer number 3. So then if you had to make any tweaks to it, you could just edit that PDF with the line feature and maybe send some initials of any changes. And that's
That makes sense.
That's how you go through the system. But it's really not built for submitting multiple offers at the same time.
Okay, no, perfect. That clarifies it. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah. Anything else? All right. Well, have a great rest of your morning. Please let me know what questions you have, what I can help with. Don't hesitate to reach out. Give me a call, text me, set up some time on my calendar, and I'm happy to help you with any DocuSign questions. Thank you all.
Thanks, Nick.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.